Specialist Krebs, your Talaxian fur fly is attacking a lab technician. Report to Science Lab 7 immediately.
Say out to your sister.
And say hi to your sister. It's Thursday, February 19th. We are here live on Live Long and Podcast, looking to talk about Star Trek Starfleet Academy, Season 1, Episode 7, Cosine. I'll be your best man this evening. My name is Chris Murphy, or Worldmind, as you so like to fit your monarchies on the internet, because, you know, why give out all the names. Anyway, I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm not alone. I am joined once again by the wonderful Allison.
Hi,
She's
thanks
here.
for having me again.
Welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Academy, Cadet. Looking forward to your input on this episode. And freshly beamed in, the freshly matrimonied himself, our own newlywed, Jaemeel Robinson, here to talk about an episode befitting, I would say, of its own matrimonial status.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
We also have Adam Woodward joining us at some point. I'll give him an introduction whenever he beams in. Welcome to the show in the comments. Let us know what you think of this episode, what you think in general. I'm going to give my quick thoughts off the bat. Not my favorite. This one was not my favorite. It was a little dull. I'm not a fan of bottle episodes, and this is very much building a ship in a bottle, and I'm no Miles O'Brien. So, with that being said, let's start with Allison. Allison, what did you think of this episode? Quick thoughts.
I wasn't a big fan either. I was very disappointed. So last episode was such a good episode and entertaining that this one just fell flat. And I think it missed the mark on certain things. Like we could have seen more about heritage or families or family dynamics. Like there's lots of holes in this one that I felt could have been filled with hints that they've made, and they didn't fulfill those holes. They just kind of had a silly, goofy episodes of not much happening.
Yeah, nothing burger indeed. And fresh off his own away mission, Adam Woodward is beamed in a transmission, looking fly in his four-door sedan, I believe.
SUV, but thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you good, sir. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you're pulled over and safe.
I am. I don't even know where I am really. I'm off the 401.
It's so important.
It's all good.
Gotta get your thoughts on this one. Well, since you've joined us, quick thoughts on, as Allison helped put it, a nothing burger of an episode. What did you think of this one, there, Adam?
After last week's, I feel like we're on a yo-yo, guys. You know, we've had a fantastic episode last week. We had a not so well, very, very poor one the week before that, and then a really good one the week before that. So we're definitely yo-yoing right now. I watched this episode in my office like at 7 this morning, and I worked the whole time because I didn't need to watch it. Like I could listen to it and figure out what was going on.
Yep, accurate. And Jaemeel, last but not least, what are your thoughts on this newlywed episode? I don't know.
I like the episode.
Yeah.
I like the episode, and it's what I guess many of us in the fandom of Creek would call the Breakfast Club episode. And what I mean by the Creek, I mean Dawson's Creek, mind you. It's the Breakfast Club episode.
JVB.
Yeah. And mostly what it was is it kind of like paired individuals up, and you'll get some revelations that occurs, right? And it kind of just leads up to, it's never usually the last episode. It's usually the second last, penultimate episode or near to that, where they kind of set some pins up for it to be knocked down. So I understand why they placed this episode here and why they didn't go all out, because from their perspective, the tension that they want to build is between the characters, right? And the revelations of the characters are supposed to be the climax and not necessarily action, right? So even though last episode we did get a lot of action, this episode was kind of setting up what their climax is going to be.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. I think I agree. Like the whole, there was high stakes in the last episode, and this one there was seemingly no stakes. It was very much, this is your life, but it was, we've been getting these sort of secular episodes. You know, we had the Sam episode, we've had a Caleb episode, we have the Jaden episode, and then we get the Genesis and Darum episode sort of sandwiched together. And it felt like there could have been a lot of maybe B story or something to these basic plots for both of these characters. Maybe that could have expanded.
What
upon
was
it.
the B story in this one? Because I couldn't, you had, it was two stories that I think were equally
Both are
poor.
B. Both are B.
That's
Yeah.
that's the thing. They both are B stories. They're both equally of like, this is an A story and this is an A story, and there would have been B plots to these A stories, but they didn't want to give both of these A stories full episode run times. So we're just jamming them into this one episode and getting the highlight reels and removing the B plots of what those would have been. And I think maybe with those potential B plots, the overall A plots of what this story was presenting would have maybe had more impact in the, like,
It absolutely
me
would
wanting to
have.
care about the characters, and
It
didn't
absolutely
happen.
would have, Chris. Like, what this episode was missing is the climax, which is Genesis, like the interaction with the family. We didn't get that.
Yeah.
They purposely removed it from this episode because they didn't want to get to that yet. So that's why it's like they're treating that as the climax. They're treating the reunion between.
Great age and advanced math. He can.
Sorry.
Okay, I thought it was me. Caleb and Tarima's reunion. That is something that they're kind of waiting for us to see exactly what happens, right? So they're stringing us along, and this is just setting up, what these revelations are going to be. But yes, I agree with what everyone has said. This is not a strong episode. I like this episode. It's not a strong episode, right? It sets up, and I'm more forward thinking, but in the here and now, this was not a good episode. It's not an episode that we're going to look back and say, "Oh, remember, we want to rewatch that warp slug, right? Sequence." So yes,
Yeah, see that, and I think I'm just gonna say this final point before we warp slug our way into the screenshots. I feel like this being the 7th episode out of 10, it felt like wasted real estate. it just felt like we don't have a lot to be with these characters. This episode could have used a little oomph, a little spice, and I got a bland sandwich. So, with that being said, let us hop into these warp slug into these screenshots. I've already said that joke, but it's spring
But
semester.
we have two comments, I think, of really good
Oh, do
points.
we? We got EJR. This is a 26 episode season episode.
Yeah,
Pretty.
honestly, it is. It's setting up stuff that's supposed to happen later on, and when you have limited real estate, right? It feels like a wasted opportunity. So, like everyone, even though I did like the episode, I absolutely understand with everyone's criticism and not liking it.
Yeah. I think it was just. It seemed like it didn't entirely progress the story further. Maybe a reveal of the Dadmiral would have helped something. I don't know. But anyway, it's spring semester. We're 4 weeks since the events of the ambush at the Miyazaka. And Caleb is beginning the first of two bookends here in this episode. He's writing a pen pal letter to Tarima, who is back on Beta Z healing. Apparently via Akra. She is awake, but he hasn't quite contacted her. While he's giving this message, you sort of get this run through of everyone's proceedingly. Aki is, solemn and sad, drinking her feelings away. Everyone else is getting ready to leave. Caleb deletes the message, but yeah, everyone's getting ready to leave for their World Day break or World break, basically spring break. This is something that bugged me about this episode. It was my first why are we doing it like this? The students are just walking into nothing and then teleporting. And you get this sort of Reno just being like, have a great World's Day, and talking to all these kids as they send off. And there's a lineup, all of them going up the main atrium steps to again walk into nothing. Like Sam saying she's going on a spa vacation to a bunch of hologram technicians. It's going to be a spa treatment for her, and then she just walks off into nothing. There's not a gateway. There's not a platform. It's just, this is the main atrium stairwell. Why do these people have to line up if their transporter that they're wearing is just going to send them off? Why can't we have a set piece that's like, oh, this is where everybody gathers to go to a farther transport? Why is it always just this stairwell? This
Would
is
you
something that stood out to me, and I wasn't a fan of it.
would you rather if everyone stood in a line and Reno walked past each of them and sent them off, and they would just magically disappear instead? As
Yeah,
opposed,
I would have been
okay,
I would have been way cooler with that. That would have made more sense. They don't need to all be lined up going up a stairwell like they're exiting to an airport exit,
It reminded
that's
me
what
of a Harry Potter sorting hat kind of thing.
yeah,
or
a
the,
little
or
bit,
gl-
right?
or going into like the flu network, so they have to walk into
Yeah.
where the port key is or something.
Right, but again, they're walking into something. These guys are walking into nothing. They're just walking into an open atrium space that's there's not even markers, there's not pylons set up. They could have done something. And this is sort of the design flaws in this show that irk me a little, that I'm like, I'm seeing when I see the seams of a show, it breaks my illusion and my immersion. And stuff like this gets me. And that's just my biggest gripe. Mike Elmore just says, they are all going different places. The computer needs to set the location each time, so easier to be a spot that stays the same. Yes, that I agree. It makes sense that they all need to go to the same spot. Why can't there be a more designated
You're
entry
talking from
exit point?
you're talking from a design aspect of it. If we're going to design a place for this action to occur, aesthetically, it looks better if there's some kind of, even if it's ceremonial kind of aspect to it, so that as the viewer, we see that they're going to a specific spot for a specific reason.
Yeah, because it just plays off as they're in their general area and then they can go wherever. If they had to go to a designated area that permits more farther transport, because you assume they're going on ships or transports to other worlds or whatever. That makes more aesthetic and visual sense. This just
That's
walking
why
up
they
an
had the
empty
stairs.
stairwell. I get it, but the stairwell exits. Just give me some damn pylons.
At least a platform.
Because they've gotten rid of the transporter room, and you know what? That's their biggest mistake. They should never have gotten rid of a transporter room.
They spent too much money in the atrium. They have nothing left for a transporter. So that's why we
It's
have
true. It's true. They have this one set, and they're going to use every corner of it. Aki pulls Genesis aside, ribbing her about going home. Before she does, she mentions that she signed her up for the pre-command program. I believe that was what it was called, or the pre-captain program.
You
Either
mean
way.
the pre-captain? Why don't people call things the way I call them?
Yeah, exactly. Then we sort of get cut to a scene where Darum's saying, say hello to your sister, say hello to your sister, say hello to your sister. And we get Jaden walking in with a Hawaii shirt because him and Kyle are going to Ibiza, or Ibiza, however you'd like to pronounce it. Pre-command tract, says Mike Elmore. Jaden sort of ribs him. They have their like tete-a-tete. And then we get cut back to Aki, who is hastily packing a bag for travel. I know this tickled Adam's senses. I'm sure he was perfectly fine and normal during this scene. Nothing bugged him at all, eh, Adam?
Oh my God. She is so uncaptain-like. I can't even tell you. Like you think of Picard, he had that little round cylinder thing that he packed where no matter where he was going, and he was able to put everything in there. She is acting very disorganized and very cluttered. But you know what? Then I thought, she's playing the Carol Kane role, the Lanthanite, very well, because I think Carol Kane would have played that role with it, a cluttered suitcase as well. So I can live with it. But man, it was stressful, jamming all that stuff in there.
Best slide. Someone put in the comments. Yeah.
Mike says best line of the episode. You have 3 pairs of boots and you don't even wear shoes. And yeah, I laughed at that. That was a good line. I do enjoy them during their dialogue using the suitcase as like a prop. She slides it to him. He slides it back. The whole point of this scene is Caleb is like, why are you sending me some foster home? Just let me stay here. I want to be here. I'm comfortable here. Just let me. And she's like, fine, you can stay here by yourself and do whatever, but you get certain privileges. Everything's locked down, and Jet Reno will be here to make sure everything's not burning down. He's like, perfect, thank you, wonderful. She goes off on her weekend adventure, and Darum, as he's about to middle finger his door back into his quarters, he hears a sound, looks around, and sees a golden nugget staying on the ground. This is clearly some family tradition, as he quickly realizes what's about to happen as he gets kidnapped from mysterious cohorts. Jaden sees it all happening. They walk through a portal. Jaden follows through, says, all right, goes and helps Darum, and that's our cold open for this episode. That was written by Alex Taub and Eric Anthony Glover and directed by Andy Armaganian.
Hey, I got a question here, guys. Do you like the opening credits?
No. I'll tell you why.
Nice. Gross.
I mean, listen, the opening credits are I like the last, I would say, 3 measures of it, like the last 3/4 of the intro, because what bugs me is the first quarter of it leads to a crescendo that doesn't happen, and then it begins again with a whole new so it's starts rising and then it drops immediately and starts rising with a new song, and then you don't really get any type of crescendo until the whole flourish of the ultimate tree or whatever, and the end credit. And even then, it's a pretty weak haphazard. There's no. It doesn't feel like Star Trek.
It's a good first season, and I hope they change it in second season.
Yeah, me too.
Primarily, the thing that they have to change is, I could ask any fan, anyone who's watched it, and go, can you hum the theme of Starfleet Academy, and I don't. I think it's literally impossible. It has no discernible theme.
It's like, what? What are we doing?
You know what? As you said that, in my mind, Picard came. That theme.
Yeah.
Weird.
So
Mike says, I said out loud as Jaden left, has Starfleet not taught the cadets how to call a red alert? Like, seriously, see something, say something, don't follow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See something, say something. Yeah, any airport, you learn the lessons, guys.
Yeah.
Well, especially knowing, like, do you know what you're going into? Like, are you going to be able to breathe on the other side of the portal?
Yes, it could have been underwater and he would have drowned.
Could have ended up like Jar Jar Binks. Anyway, so we ended up at the Sunset Moon, which is the moon of the Kionian realm, the planet Kionia. This is where they have their matrimony, so we don't have to deal with Avatar-like CG water planet and a bunch of people with CG scales and stuff. We're gonna just put everybody on a sun-dry moon. Yeah, sun-dry moon and everyone's skin. Now this is a fun fact. Jaden enters an open portal, and instead of just walking out of an open portal, the portal opens again, and then he walks out. I felt like maybe this should have just been open and he followed through. But Jaden's like, where am I? There's like these bone temple like structures, and then he hears Darum, what sounds like he's gonna get his head chopped off. So he picks up the biggest rock that he can, charges in, saying it's a good day to die, and it's just a misunderstanding. It's actually
the pacifist Starfleet Klingon is running in with a big rock. I love it.
Yeah, the biggest rock. And then he's like, what is happening? I know that today is a good day to die. There's that line. He's like, no, you're my Kionian. What is a Kionian? You're basically my best man. My what? And he drops a brick, literally. That's when he finds out he gets to be the best man in this matrimony. So it's a wedding episode, folks. This is all about a wedding episode. And then we snap back to our other A storyline, where we see Caleb Mir, Sando Rosta, just putting everyone to shame with this godlike physique and a few cucumbers covering his orbitals.
Hey, you know what? You got, like, in Enterprise, you got DePaul putting on cream multiple times. I say gel. Sorry. When this part of the episode came around, it turned over, showed my daughter and my wife, and I'm like, female gaze, huh? And they chuckled. Oh, like, why not? So.
So yeah,
Genesis
asks him why he's wet, and he says, because we have an aquarium. Again, why not show us at the aquarium or something? Why is he just laying in the middle of the hallway baking in the sun? Because it's a bottle episode, sure.
And female gaze.
And female gaze. So yeah, Genesis is back. She decided to skip out on her family trip, and it's becomes a game of like, well, what do you gotta do? You're just gonna lay here in the sun and walk around without any pants on and have bot chicken fights, bot cockfights? That's the term I'm looking for. And he's like, maybe. And she's like, let's go play a real game of science where it's, toxic or non-toxic. Then we get back to these guys. Darren basically explains to Jaden, I need you to be my best man. In the butt plug planet, as Mike Elmero says. Well, that's unseenable.
Yep.
Was that like a 3 gauge? Would have been funny if you mentioned because Cetacean Ops isn't locked down. See, we would have loved a Cetacean Ops. So yeah, basically, Jaden and Darum, he's getting the rundown. It's like, listen, I need you to be my best man, and I need you to give a speech. And Darum and Jaden's like, I will sweat profusely. Don't make me do this. Why are we here? And that's when we get introduced to Kyra and Quill, which is Jaden's betrothed. Basically, Quill's like, bow your head, cousin, which Jaden's like, who are you, tiny one? Getting this sort of again, back and forth of why Darum is back all of a sudden. Slowly figuring out he's being called in because there's a ceremony that's being sped up. A little surprise wedding, as Mike Elmore puts it. What is up with Trek's obsession with surprise weddings? It wouldn't be Trek without a wedding.
It's like wrestling with a cake. Someone's going to have their face dipped into it.
So, how are we feeling about the storylines that have been presented so far? We've got Caleb and Genesis playing, I would say hooky, but, you know, they're just in an empty school. And then we got Darum and Jaden, you know, playing best man, buddy cop. Which one do we like
with
most,
the other
folks?
episodes, they've been talking up the parents, and so this, I get that it's a bottle episode, but even just to introduce the parents would have been interesting. Like, could we have met the like, he didn't need to be a huge part of it, but at least give us a little taste of it, because the hype of the parents has been like, especially with Darum's parents are obviously very strict and are not talking to him, and where were they if he's getting married?
Didn't even show up
Why
to
were
the
they
wedding.
not there?
There should have been like, even from one of them, like a video screen conversation where, like, I imagine if you don't want to show the parents, maybe the parents is casting that you want to reveal at a later time, you could have Jaden walking in and all you could hear is someone screaming at Durham, and he's just trying to like, but, and then by the time we walk in, the call is ended, and you can see Durham just sweating, right? That would have like at least served the purpose of like who is this parent, right? For Genesis, I don't think it's a big deal for us to see the parent. Like, if there was we didn't need to be told by Genesis that her father was going to be away. Her father could have had that call with her and see her disappointment or relief, right? Furthering her plot, right? We didn't need to. They didn't need to not show both. I felt they could have done more, and it could have been simple.
Yeah, those could have been the B plots that this show was greatly missing.
And the
Just,
sequences
you
I
know,
talked about are intensely long, right? It would take both combined could have been a minute.
yeah.
You know what,
like-
Jaemeel, you know, as you said that, and you guys just described the scene to me, this could have been a short trek.
Yeah. This could have been a short trek if they still did those. If only they still did those.
Like, both of these stories could have been short trek, because I am intensely curious about the Badmiral, if he's a Badmiral or just a Dadmiral. And I like to see more of that. You know, I kind of miss Admiral Vance. I like that guy a lot. We only got to see him a couple times this season so far.
Yeah,
And I personally would have liked to see more of Darum's Kionian like heritage and lifestyle and stuff like that on Kione. And it was more like a speed run. It's like a wedding is sort of like the culmination of a general, you know, society, right? Like it's a big moment for most people. Just being like
And then for
literally
royalty,
thrown into the deep end.
for royalty, wouldn't it be even more? Like, you would think it would be a circumstance of a huge ceremony, not just
they yada yada the
people that were in the
ceremony.
corner.
They yada yada the ceremony, and we just saw the reception.
It was like what, 20 people there? It was private ceremony. Okay, so yeah, just circle back. So this is where we're getting the toxic non-toxic scene. Genesis dumping her hand into essentially what looks like well, if you know, you know. What was it? A little YTV show back in the day. Yeah, it looks like the Gak from the slime that you would see Wink Yahoo get covered kids in and stuff. Anyway, if you know, you know.
If you know.
So yeah, we get this sort of scene. Caleb puts his hand in a jar. Turns out to be a warp slug. It bites him, makes his hand glow, makes his eyes red, makes his ears big. He gets shocked, and now they're chasing a warp slug. All while this is happening, Genesis is like, my dad makes me stressed out. I don't know why. It's like, okay, we don't know why either, but, you know, you're stressed about your dad.
This is where the sequence we're supposed to get them chasing after the warp slug, and like there's some like a musical montage of them running through the halls, chasing
Mm-hmm.
after this the warp slug, and just as they turn the corner, Reno passes by.
To
Once again,
Benny Hill
this
music.
well,
Yeah.
not Benny Hill music because it's a reference directly to the Breakfast Club.
Oh, I'm
When
sorry. That's
yeah,
oh right. Gotcha.
right. So
Both would
and
work.
that this is what but this is what that part of the episode feels like, where there's moments of levity, and they both share, and then hijinks occur, there's a montage, and then eventually it leads to the big revelation, and all the cards are left on the table. That's how you're supposed to build that type of episode. And those episodes work, especially when there's a lot of loose ties that need to be put into focus. um, but this episode didn't really get that right.
Mm.
It should have.
So this
But
episode
most
also I've come
importantly,
to.
in this episode, those hoodies. Can I get one of
Yes.
those hoodies?
Yes.
I want one.
I was thinking the exact
Uh,
same thing.
We also get in this episode, not only is it a wedding episode, it is a traditional cave episode, as we get this cave-like background of the Sunset Village. Mike Elmer says, yeah, they really should have shortened some scenes and given us coverage of all the characters. I would have been down for that if this episode was a series of short treks, where it was just like each student at their like little away place. Sam's at the Hollow place, Occam's on Beta with Tarima. If they separated up and just made them more compact, and it was just like, oh, this is what everyone did, I would have been nice. A little montage episode.
Kevin waiting for Jaden in Ibiza getting
Yeah,
burned.
sunburned, exactly, right? Just like, where is he? I don't get it. I thought he'd be here.
No advancements in sunscreen.
Yes. Or he's looking at two different kinds of sunscreen and he doesn't know.
Or how
Yeah.
come they can like fix a giant wound on a body with like some kind of medical tool, but they can't fix a sunburn.
Toxic,
They can't
non-toxic
fix-
game. The ears
Yeah,
were fixed in 3 seconds, but the sunburn stays. The point
Yeah,
of pride.
maybe.
It's more of a dermal thing. EJ says budget is the reason they didn't chase the warp slug. Yeah, they spent it all in the previous episode. That makes sense.
And
This
also
time
why
we
Durham wasn't in his true form.
yes,
Like,
exactly.
why-
Yes, this is why
like,
everyone's
You would think he'd want to meet his potential bride, or bride in this episode, in their true forms.
Did
Yeah.
they kind of just yada yada in a way? It's like, well, they're on the dry planet. That's where marriages occur. So
yeah, that's
Yada,
exactly what
yada.
they did. Much like the yada yada, the marriage setup and all that stuff, they've also yada yada this. Basically, Kiara, Katara, Kiana, Kiki basically couldn't get her parents to settle on something, so she's got to marry Darum now to settle Kiki's parents. So now that we're at Kiki's palace, Darum and Kiki are gonna kiss, because Darum's like, I'll sacrifice all my hard work at Starfleet for and all that stuff to be betrothed to you because I'm super dedicated to tradition, and you don't fucks with tradition. So yeah, she's all happy, and he's all like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Gabe, is that you?
We get, of course, this wonderful cameo of the Enterprise D, because we all love a little D in our life. And then I think that's also another Enterprise C class. I think that was one. I can't remember. Anyway, so Caleb and Genesis have basically cornered their warp slug on top of the chandelier. And they use a freeze ray to freeze it, and then Janet Reno comes in talking to Laura Toth about how she seemingly kicked a door to test it and hurt her toe, one of only two. And then we get this scene where she's pulling out the toesies, letting the piggies breathe, while drool dangles over her head, and Genesis freezes it. And it's just like, what are we wasting our time on here? Only
This
for
is
it
the
to...
This is the Quentin Tarantino sequence.
Yeah, that's fair.
Without the clever dialogue.
Without the clever dialogue, indeed. So yeah, Durham. We get back to Durham and Jaden. And Jaden's like, "Why do you want to do this? You don't clearly want to do this." And Durham's like, "I have to do this for my family. You don't understand. I've got family. You don't know what it means to sacrifice things for your family." And Jaden's like, "I
But say hi
don't.
to your
I do."
sisters.
So say hi to your sisters for me. He basically is like, all right, well, I see what you're trying to say, but he's not about it. And then these two are having a tete-a-tete, a heart-to-heart. I'm yada-yadaing most of this episode because I can't honestly remember half of it.
Genesis talks
Mike's-
about Terima, their relationship, and why he hasn't talked to her, and obviously the issue is with him, and he talks about why he's been so hesitant to do so.
Yeah,
That's the
because
sequence.
she touched his special no-no place in his brain, and he didn't give permission, and then he basically was like, it freaked me out. What can I say? I hadn't had a finger up my butt like that before. And Genesis is like, you should try more often. Chill out, dude. So we get back to the betrothal between Jaden and Darum. Oh, this is where, right. This is where Jaden's like, he's covered in cold seaweed. He doesn't like being cold. And Darum's like, I'm in my special coat, my family's coat. It's delicate. It's made of vines. It's delicate. And he ends up tearing it and freaking out. And then Jaden tries to calm him down. And then that's where they have their little, like, you don't know anything about family. And then Jaden leaves. And Darum's like, well, I guess I lost my best man. Caleb agrees to get Genesis onto the ship because she wants to sit in a captain's chair that wasn't her daddy's chair because nepotism doesn't work for her. He's like, all right, you got your 5 minutes. And she's all excited. She sits in the chair. She starts pushing buttons saying, turn on the warp drive. He's like, whoa, 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 we're not going anywhere. And he starts pulling the plug. While she does that, she uses the program to pull out a key. She's going to use the key to alter her application because God, what a long-winded explanation this is. Her application is not, she doesn't want to be notified as the nepotism baby. And while she's arguing with this and Caleb's like, listen, I'm not allowed you to do this, she's like, that's a really heavy-hearted message. I came here looking for a pad, but I just found 2 students in deep shit. And that was probably my favorite line of the episode. Agreed, the wardrobe department is doing amazing.
Right? I would wear all of it.
Like, yeah, I'll take it.
That hoodie.
So just so I understand this scene, so basically she's okay breaking all the rules and trying to forge her or plagiarize her records, but she doesn't want to be known as a Nepo baby.
Yeah,
is that
that's
right?
basically it. She's trying to like erase her recommendations in her.
All right, she's got to know her priorities. She hasn't learned her priorities here. She doesn't deserve this.
Okay, the recommendations were altered by her. So in the recommendations, they were, I guess, in some respects, backhanded, mentioning that she had issues, and it was talking about the reality of her situation, which is that, she doesn't seem to know where her place is, and she, doesn't seem like she's afraid of doing the wrong thing. So she altered those things so that it would be more glowing. So now that revelation could come out, and that's why she was trying to fix them, because if it got reviewed, they would know that it would be a fake.
Okay. So,
but you're right.
So she
Adam.
lied. She lied on her application.
Her priorities are wrong.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody else get kicked out for that?
That she changed the recommendations, and then I don't remember. I don't know. I was pretty checked out of the episode by this point. I'm not gonna lie. We then go back to the wedding. Quill says her best lady, best person, best Peach. She does her best.
Tarsus. Tarsus lied on his application. Simon Tarsus.
Yes. Tarsus. Yes. Then Darum's like, I'm about to say a speech because my cousin isn't here. He was supposed to be. And then Jade's like, I'm here and present. And then he gives this really nice warm speech about Darum being like, he might be an asshole, but he's actually a good guy. He, he's really warm and kind, and he's there for you when you you least expect it. He'll sacrifice every little itty bit of his fleshy heart, fish scale heart. He's gonna sacrifice all the scaly heart because he's just a good guy. And then, this is like
Don't forget his
cutting
little
deep
joke.
for-
His joke was cute. If this
What
was a
was his
Klingon
joke?
wedding, I would be broken the clavicles of the bride and groom by now.
Yeah,
Bit his
the
nose.
bride would have bitten his nose off, and we would have broken each other's clavicles. I suggest we don't do that. Yeah, she reads through between the lines and sees that Darum's actually having a good life at Starfleet, and she's just like, ah, shit, I've made a terrible mistake.
I'm glad they don't make her seem like a total idiot, so I'm glad. Because oftentimes it's like, what? But she kind of read between the lines, which was good.
And she's going to roll by herself, which, yes.
Let's go for that, absolutely. Aki's back, boots and all. It's like, you made me cancel my vacation. Why? Why did you do this, Nepo baby? And Genesis is like, my letters, I can't know. She's like, all right, well, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. I'm no longer recommending you for the pre-captain program. And you both are doing 200 hours of mandatory cleaning services for starting now. So go grab your mop buckets. And that's the end of that. And they're like, oh, well, we dodged a bullet. Then we yada yada the whole wedding. And then Kiki's delivery service tells Darum, you know what? You're free. You're better off at Starfleet Academy. You go ahead. Jaden made you seem like a good guy. You got to annul it. We'll annul the wedding. Don't worry about it. Nobody will care. It's fine. I'll rule this place. And he's like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, it's cool. He's like,
people who were at the wedding.
yeah. This is the entire wedding party right here. The entire wedding party. All 6 people. Darum's parents couldn't be arsed. Couldn't be arsed to show up whatsoever. And he's sad about it. And Jaden gives him a little pat on the shoulder. You made a good choice of annulling your quick marriage. Fastest marriage in history. Anyway, we're back in San Francisco. There's going to be a meteor shower. These two get along. And he's like, yeah, well, we're supposed to go to Ibiza. And then Kyle shows up with sunburn. And immediately Darum's like, that's the worst sunburn I've ever seen. And just starts ripping Kyle up. It's like, what's wrong with your face? And then Jane's like, don't be an ass. Apparently this is supposed to be a big shocking scene. Because anybody, I guess, that didn't pay attention to these two in previous episodes, this kiss on a cheek is a big shocking revelation that Jaden is a gay Klingon. Like, okay, cool.
What
Good for him.
did you see stuff online about it?
Oh yeah, no, there's in the internet, the international Star Trek community, being all sides and all ways about this revelation. Some not.
What
You know what,
thrilled,
guys?
some not.
Like
Some
I'm.
thrilled.
It's amazing to me that this is still a thing. I got to tell you, I shared this a couple years ago. I ran into this guy at a gas station in Burlington one time, and he had a leather jacket on with a big Delta on the back. It was really cool. And then I noticed he had the original cast had signed it, right?
Oh, wow.
And at that time it was Discovery had just come out, and we were talking about Discovery, and then he started on about, like, I can't even mention it. It was so obscene and bigoted and just homophobic. And I walked away from the guy. How are you possibly wearing this jacket and not understanding, what the show is about and the bigger meaning here? And anyway, and it still exists here now, 8 years later, or whatever it is now. It's bizarre. Rant over.
Everyone's got to complain about new Star Trek. I think that's part of the Star Trek tradition. They said it about TNG. They've said it about Voyager. They said it about DS9.
Yeah, but what's like it's based on tolerance, for crying out loud, from 1960s.
It always has
Anyway,
been.
done.
Yeah. So then we go back to Caleb and Genesis. They have what was this conversation about? I don't know. They were mopping floors. And
They go into more.
oh, right. She's like, hey, just call the girl. Don't be a nerd.
Basically that.
If it gets uncomfortable, then send the message. Don't delete it, just send it. Be all truthful. Call the girl. And that's when he does. And then they has the bookend. They all watch the meteor shower. He sends his message. Sam's back. Don't know where she was up to. Would have liked to see that.
She was at the spa. She was at the spa.
I know, but I would have liked to seen her at the spa. Maybe did her glitches get fixed? I was thinking that would be like that's okay. That's a thing I'll talk.
It's okay. We had enough of her 2 episodes ago. We need a break.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I would have liked some like follow up on like her being shot. I was maybe expecting a character development, and she'd be less bubbly and a little more like
serious,
withdrawn, a little more serious. Serious Sam, you know. Okay, anyway, just me. All right, that's fine.
No,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
So yeah, Caleb sends his message, and then he looks at the meteor shower, and everyone's smiling and holding hands, and that's the end of our episode of Starfleet.
Murphy,
Academy, episode 7. Mm-hmm.
Where do they look at the meteor shower?
Oh, over San Francisco,
out
on the stairwell, on the transportation platforms. Yeah, of course. Everyone just hangs out on. You know what? I love looking at the CN Tower from the subway station platforms as well. You know. Anyway, we'll hit some comments here real quick. EJ says all the episodes this season have been over or about 55 minutes. This was the perfect episode to have been 40 to 45 minutes long. Mike Elmore says he could be a bi or pan Klingon. Pan Klingon? Yeah. Well, all right. I'll try another joke some other day. How is it shocking that Jaden is gay? They've had the leading to this in the last 3 episodes. I mean, people are thick, you know. And Mike Elmore says, hot take, I'm sick and tired of the overuse of the damn wall. I'm not against it. While I pull up the scores, quick thoughts from anyone here.
Just before
I've got some. Before you go there, I've got some facts for you.
We'll do the facts that I'll talk.
Yeah. So in the classroom wall star chart at the beginning, there's some lost Star Trek history apparently that you may have missed. First of all, the Gamma Quadrant boundary markers are there. And then a collapsed wormhole icon is labeled with an obsolete Starfleet registry format, which basically indicates and acknowledges that Deep Space Nine wormhole is no longer active.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I guess did it close at the end of DS9 when Cisco did the fire thing, or was it open? It's been open. Wait, what did
I don't know, but
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Celestial Temple. What's up with that?
So the holiday date, this is a call out to Dave Madar here in his canon, but there's a canon callback. All Worlds Day occurs with a star date ending in 0.4. In Star Trek canon, 0.4 star dates are disproportionately used for diplomatic disasters, cultural misunderstandings, and ethical failures disguised as celebrations. So, interesting. I bet you Dave does not know that. And then Genesis
came onto his show. Maybe we'll find out.
Oh, Dave, we love you, buddy. And then the Genesis disciplinary file number. It starts with an AG-47 reference, but the prefix matches the Starfleet Advocate General Records, and it's first standardized during the post-Dominion War era.
Okay.
And then, interestingly enough, is like you're starting to see some discipline actually exists in this school, so it's kind of good to see that. The Bajoran, there was a Bajoran on the stairway, and her earring orientation signified Orthodox faith alignment and a conservative interpretation of the prophets. And then finally, there was a quote: "You don't honor your past by surrendering to it." This, it was somebody had said on the chat here, or on the internet. It was a Picard quote, but it's not. But it's definitely a reference to Next Gen. I think I have one more, guys. Just 1 second here. No, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks.
All right, sexy fun facts of Adam. Thank you, Adam. All right. So we've gone through this Nothing Burger episode. We've explored the possibilities of what could have made it better, what could have made it more. Does anyone have any sort of final thoughts before we get into our scores about this?
I'm really hoping next episode will bring it back up.
I'm putting my faith in Jaemeel's explanation. I can take that. Let's go.
I don't think that I'm the end all be all, like I'm in the writer's room or anything like that. It's just that.
Well, I kind of believe Chris for a while, so I'm not putting my faith in you.
Ooh. all I'm saying is that's what I'm looking at from the aspect of a teen show as opposed to a Star Trek show.
Yeah.
Right? And from a teen show, they always have an episode like this where they separate people.
Sorry, I do have one.
That was an O.
Sorry, let me try to find. You'll go ahead and I'll find it. There was a reference to that.
Okay. Yeah. On T shows, you usually have an episode like this where they kind of separate the individuals and they kind of focus in on storylines that have been kind of sitting dormant for a while to kind of bring them back into the zeitgeist so that we prepare for the final revelation of whatever ends up happening. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but that's what I'm trying to look through the show via that lens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so not only the teen show, but apparently, and this is where I'd like to do some cross-referencing, but apparently in episode 7 in Star Trek, it traditionally is a low-action show or episode, very high character development, and it's focused on identity and choice, typically. So it'd be really interesting to go back and see if that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Okay. Allison?
I'm just trying to process that too with identity and choice, like thinking about the wedding, like he was choosing to stay, but then was let go. So I don't know if that choice was removed from him, but then he didn't choose to stay afterwards. So, but like looking at identity, I feel like they could have really delved into the characters more. Instead, they kind of created this kind of confusion. Like Jaden and Darum had like kind of a tender moment, and they had that tender moment when before his when he was public speaking, when he was having a hard time public speaking, and then but I don't feel like it really developed character. It just kind of was goofy.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit of a harken to call back at that moment. I thought he was going to do the whole like woosah breathing practice, but he didn't. And you know, it's like, okay, I guess they pedaled back. Again, I think we kind of like nailed it. Like it was very a sample dish of these characters, you know, potential greater stories, and I would have liked a bit more of that meeting the folks, as like we got in some of the comments here. And also apparently we've got a hey from Bunny Space Machine. Hey, how's it going? Mike Elmore says, I think it was a great palate cleanser episode, and we got to cleanse that palate before the 3-episode finale. So hopefully these next 3 episodes are going to be bangers. We'll see. Before we wrap this show up, let us get to the all but important ratings of this episode. Our own Captain Dave Maynard has given Kozan a shining 7.0. Will we ever hear his thoughts? Who knows? Apparently, he will be back next week to host, so maybe he can explain.
He confuses the hell out of me. I spoke to him on Monday about this when we were doing Tin Man, because he didn't give last week's episode a very high score, but he's given anyway. Dave's mystifying me right now. I can't wait till he's back.
The best episode of the season, he gives a 7.5 for some reason. Who knows? Who can? I'd sooner touch the moon than understand Dave Maynard's thinking. Jaemeel, we'll go with you. What did you give this episode?
So I will do last week's episode first.
Okay.
And I will give that a 9.
A 9, absolutely.
Yes. Sorry. I was on a honeymoon. That's why I didn't show up. So anyone wants to know why my...
Sure.
He was on his own sunset moon.
Yes.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you once again. I got the ring finally. Man,
Bling bling.
Men get the short end of the stick. I have to wait the entire engagement, and then to the wedding day to get a ring. Crazy. Anyways, it's a whole other podcast. For this episode, I'd actually give it a 6.9.
Ooh,
So not a 7.
6.9.
6.9.
6.7. All right, 6.9 for Kozen by Jaemeel. Allison, you had some time to re-review the episodes. You want to give us a quick rundown?
Did. Do you want me to give you the rundown? I even wrote myself some notes so I could remember, because there's no way I was doing it on memory. So episode 1, 9. Solid start.
9.
Made me want to watch more for sure. Episode 2 and 8. Learning about diplomatic relations was interesting. The characters were interesting. Sam being solid but not solid was always weird for me. Episode 3, 8.5. I found it was fun with the war games and learning more about the students themselves.
Okay.
I see
Jody's favorite episode.
Yeah, Jody's super favorite episode.
I like the setup of the rivalry. I found it was silly, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Entertaining. And I guess I have the luxury of hindsight with all of this too, knowing that I'm now rating it. And I wasn't when I first started watching it. I was just like, yay, Heather, I love this. This is fun. What am I at? Episode 4, I did a 7.5. I enjoyed getting to see Jaden's family, but I found it was kind of slow sometimes. And then with the ending, I thought it was like clever, yet was it a fair fight? And it was just kind of performative. So I was kind of like, it kind of didn't arc for me. So 7.5. And then episode 5, I gave a 7.
Ooh.
And the reason I gave it a 7,
anyone.
I gave it a high score, and I pondered this for this conversation because I knew I was going to get razzed.
I'm not razzing you.
I found it really entertaining, even though it started very, like, it was infantile. The writing doesn't match up, like, it's with a hologram or a 20-year-old-ish type of person, right? So that was kind of silly. But I liked that we got to see more of the students. We got to learn more about the cadets. The rivalries seem to be like there, but they're gelling together. Like Jaden's boyfriend, who's like, nice jackets. So I like the quirkiness of it because it just in the end was entertaining. So
Allison, I thought we talked about this.
I thought it was goofy but entertaining.
Okay.
Am I kicked off now? Sorry,
No.
you may never see me again here.
No.
So there we go.
All right.
And then
And
for the latest
Kozen.
episode, I gave it a 6 because I was kind of bored and I wanted more. I felt like they missed the mark on a few things, unfortunately.
Fair.
Fair enough. Adam, what is your rating for this episode?
This was fine. But here's my mark. I learned something today about myself. If you can watch an episode, or sorry, listen to an episode and understand what's going on, there was nothing really visually stunning in this. It's a 5 for me. You know what? I'm not going down into the very low numbers again because I can wait to see what happens with 7.5, or 7, 8, and 9 and 10. No, 8, 9, and 10. But I'm also reserving the right to change my score next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's fair. I'm actually, I wasn't wowed with this episode. It felt like a nothing burger to me. There was like, especially after, I guess you could say, the highs of the previous episode. Yes, this one was a bit of a palate cleanser. Did we need a palate cleanser? I don't think so.
We only have 10 episodes. We don't have time for palate cleansers.
Exactly. We have 4 episodes left, and I would have liked to seen some serious progression, maybe in the overall storyline. And instead, it felt like a sidestep journey. So honestly, this is the weakest episode for the season for me. So I'm giving it a 3.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It was just there was like I had to watch this episode practically 3 times for me to remember the plot of what was going on.
Oh my
The
God,
first
you
time I
did?
barely paid attention. The second time I kind of paid attention, and the third time was when I was getting screenshots of, and I kind of like rewatched a couple scenes. So it was like, and the other thing too, normally we end these episodes with like sound clips and stuff. I couldn't even think of a sound clip from this episode that I wanted to end this episode on, and I forgot to get one. So we don't even have that.
Not even
So
Jet's line about deep shit.
yeah, I was
Very
thinking
good.
about it would either been the deep shit one or the you've got 3 pairs of boots and you don't even wear shoes. Those would have been the lines I would have ended this episode with. But with that, I think we'll just end it. I think we'll just end this episode. Thank you all for joining.
Wait, hold a second. We had a great
Wait, what?
milestone that happened this week. Like,
Did we?
yeah, we did. Like, what's going on? Haven't you all, on I think it was Tuesday, went to your game system of choice, booted it up, and started playing Star Trek Across the Universe. It came out on Tuesday.
Oh, I didn't get I didn't download that. I haven't downloaded that yet. I might at some point. I mean, to be fair, it took me like a year to play the last Star Trek game that came out. There we are, Star Trek Voyager Across the Universe.
It has the music playing.
Well, I mean, if we can set up some sort of live streaming session of that game, perhaps you might want to stick around, live long in podcasts, and see how some of us fare in the Delta Quadrant. I will eventually get my hands on that. I've got to figure out that if you can pry me away from Arc Raiders. You can find me.
I don't think
playing
that's
Arc
ever going to
Raiders.
happen.
You can find me playing Arc Raiders on twitch.tv/theworldmind. And you can find all of us here at Live Long and Podcast. We talked about the Tin Man on TNG on Monday. Adam was there. Dave was there. Dave will be back next Thursday. He's I think today's his last Thursday for curling. I'm not sure if he's gonna push the rock and cheat or not, but we'll find out. He'll let us know next week.
Double touch.
Talk about
Double
figures.
touch. Little-
Did you talk
little
about-
double touch?
Did you talk about
David.
figuring later on previously?
Yeah. Okay, anybody got any shoutouts, any plans, anything going on they want to talk about? No, maybe, yes.
I'll just
No?
say this: Mater is not a cheater. I played with him before. Like, he's a ethical curler.
He's never double touched a rock in his life.
No way.
Well, with that, I think we'll end it. Tune back in next week. We'll be talking about episode 8 of Starfleet Academy. Look for potential live streams of Star Trek Voyager Across the Universe while that might be happening. Look for more TNG redos. And if you love Star Trek Prodigy, we had an interview with our very own Aaron Waukee, or not our very own Waukee, but Star Trek's very own Aaron Waukee, the man that helped create and bring to life Star Trek Prodigy. A great interview with Dave Mater and Jessica Chan. So you should check that out. I highly recommend
Captain's
that.
Yacht.
The old Captain's Yacht. Hopefully we can get some more wonderful guests on that show. I'm going to ramble and keep rambling until I press buttons to take it all away. Thank you again. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Jaemeel. And thank you, you listener, for leaving your comments, leaving your likes, spiking this episode. Let us know what you thought of it and what you're hoping to see out of Starfleet Academy. With all that being said, live long and prosper.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.